Hello, hello, hello. Thank you. It's Jay here, and I wanted to talk about allowing things in society to flow through you like a fence, like a wind goes through a fence, instead of absorbing things that are not good for you or upset you, because these things that may or may not upset you are all around you. And although you may build a cocoon in your own world, there are times when you have to step out of that cocoon and go into the world. And you may see things that don't resonate well with you. And sometimes those things that you see can get you carried away in your thoughts until you look up and you're crying, or you just feel miserable for some reason, and it's all because of something that you saw that rubbed you the wrong way. And you're thinking, you could beat yourself up. Like, you can really, really, really put yourself down for going through those things. And they happen. They don't just happen once. Like, you can find yourself in this space continuously over time, but maybe once in a while, but it's continuous. And every time it pops up, you're wondering, where did this come from? Where did this trigger? Why did this trigger have to happen now? I was having a lovely time. Why? Why did I allow that what I saw that shouldn't even exist to me? I allowed that to penetrate my aura and get stuck in my being, instead of allowing it to pass through me and blow away in the wind, like how a breeze blows through a fence, and the fence stands firm in place. Why can't I become like that fence that stands firm in the soil and doesn't get moved by a heavy, heavy wind? Why? Why is that? I want you to know that this happens. This kind of thing happens to everyone, and some people have it under control a lot better than others. But there are some of us that every once in a while we allow the wind to blow us over, and then we feel sad, and we feel guilty for even allowing that to happen to us, which we shouldn't feel guilty. And sometimes certain things that we see, we should be able to process them ourselves and let them go quickly so that it doesn't affect us. But some of us actually need someone that understands to listen and help us process what we saw, and maybe bounce ideas off of one another, so that we can break down, like quantify what it is that we saw, and understand that this thing that we saw has nothing to do with us. Because sometimes I feel we believe that which we saw is something that has to do with us. We tie what we see outside, another person doing, another person being, that has to do with us, when in fact it doesn't. And I think this kind of thing starts from growing up and being told certain things that kind of make you feel responsible for others and what they're doing and things like that, when in fact we do not have any responsibility, or it is not for us to change another person, because if we try too hard, we're only going to hurt ourselves. And so sometimes we walk in this life feeling like we can change people, and when we see things that disturb us, we have a reaction to it, a reaction as if, oh, I should be able to fix that, or I can fix that, or if I was able to fix that, I would do this, or I would do that, and then we get all worked up inside, and next thing you know, mentally, we're not in our present anymore, and we are in our past, and our past could have been a very miserable space, and we basically just took ourselves right back to our past, right in the present. And this is toxic. This isn't good at all, because then you could be having the most blissful day, blissful time, and one thing can set you off and ruin it and really make you feel bad. And that bad feeling could last a few days if you're not in control, if you don't get in control of it. And I just wanted to talk about that, because learning to allow things to flow through us, or sometimes maybe not even through us, but just flow right by us without us having any kind of attachment to it, is key. And it's not easy. And yes, it is easy for some people. Some people have it down packed. And maybe they learned it growing up. Maybe they learned it the hard way, but they learned it and they got it. But then there's others that don't know, and they're struggling day to day with this same thing. And all I have to say is we just got to practice this day in and day out, of just allowing, focused on the breath, focused on the wind. Just pay attention to how the wind just moves through the trees, and the trees don't take on the wind and want to challenge the wind. They just flow with the wind. And that's what, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay more attention each day to how the wind moves around, and how the trees respond to the wind, and other things respond to the wind, and try to mimic that. Because I really, really think like nature is our biggest teacher, and we just have to pay attention to it, and we can conquer a lot of things. And on another note as well, sometimes when we like to voice our opinions, we may come across to others as, I don't know, like just know that other people, everybody thinks differently, and other people may not understand how you articulate yourself. And that's why a lot of times people hold things in, and you got all this stuff inside of you just eating away at you, and sometimes you need to release it. You need some sort of release. You need somebody to talk to. But sometimes it's best to keep it to yourself unless you have somebody that can understand and kind of like help you work through the issue, as opposed to it becoming a debate on something, because sometimes it can turn into a debate of the minds when everybody thinks differently. And so sometimes it's best keep it in and process it and try to work through it using nature, if you don't have another human being to bounce your ideas or your questions or whatever. Nature, I think nature is a good teacher, and until you're able to speak, because sometimes when you do speak, it may come out the wrong way, and you might end up getting even more frustrated or irritated. So sometimes it's best to just hold things in, pay attention to nature, pay attention to animals and how they handle themselves. And then when it's the right time, if you have someone that you can go to that will understand or understand what you're trying to say, then move forward. It saves a whole lot of unhappy feelings and sad, like just this. It saves a lot of crap. Let's just say that.